Please subscribe.
Had Lexus instead dropped the Lexus LFA Supercar's 4.8-liter 552 horsepower V10 in the nose, it would have A. posted incredible acceleration numbers, B. cost a fortune, and C. utterly shifted the LC into a different, aspirational, near supercar category. What we discovered after Johnny's racetrack romp, our instrumented testing, and Jason's jaunt to Palm Springs and back is that this is a truly special car, but not for the reasons you might be hoping. Just look at them. With their show car sheet metal, in truth it's an aluminum hood, front fenders, doors, and the trunk is made from carbon fiber reinforced polymer, CRFP, and classic long hood short deck grand touring proportions. Front mid-engine actually, the LC500 and the hybrid-powered LC500 hours are indisputably gorgeous and look ridiculously fast without turning a wheel. They are those things, but just not as fast as they appear. Comparisons are inevitable, so let's get them out of the way first. If you had hopes of the LC500 matching the performance of either the similarly positioned Mercedes-Benz SL550 or the similarly proportioned V12-powered Aston Martin V12 Vantage S, you'd be similarly let down. Furthermore, if you imagine the LC500 hours hybrid chasing down a BMW i8 hybrid with its similar output, you'll be disappointed again. It lacks a dedicated launch program, which ordinarily enhances the transmission's torque converter effectiveness, but here triggers a limp mode, so the 0 to 60 miles per hour arrives in a stop-and-go 4.8 seconds in the LC500, and the quarter mile arrives in 13.2 seconds at 110.2 mile per hour. Wheel spin is very slight with traction control disabled. Anything under 5 seconds to 60 miles per hour is quick in our book, but not what we'd call sports car quick. Test drivers' notes reveal that the best run was achieved in normal mode with the transmission in drive, rather than Sport Plus mode or manual shifting. These performance results put the Lexus about a half second behind the Aston Martin the 5th-12 Vantage S. What's worse is that the LC500 is almost a second turn of a 2013 Mercedes-Benz SL550 from 4 years ago. Curiously, the LC500 is also slower than the quickest Lexus GSF sedan, by 0.4 seconds, and RCF Coupe by half a second, both with an earlier 467 horsepower version of the same 2-er GSE V8. So why are these cars not as quick as we'd hoped? For one thing, the ground beneath them. The LC500's 4,370 pound and LC500 hours S 4,471 pound curb weights, as tested, certainly play a part. The last Lexus LS 460 sedan tipped our four-corner scales at 4,466 pounds. Despite attempts to shed pounds, these are heavy cars. Surprisingly, they don't feel heavy when you drive them. The LC500's weight-to-power math works out about the same as that quicker SL550 we tested when it then made just 429 horsepower and weighed 4,104 pounds, so there's something else messing with the physics here. It boils down to the LC500's 10-speed transmission and gear ratios. The LC500 hours as complexities require more explanation. If the LC500's engine makes 471 peak horsepower at 7,100 revolutions per minute, has a reported 168 mile per hour, electronically limited at the top of 5th gear, top speed and 10 gears, one would guess that those cogs ratios would be set rather close to one another to keep the engine on the boil, or at least 1st through 5th would be short, leaving 6th through 10th with mind-numbing fuel-sipping overdrive ratios. Part of this is true, 7th gear is 1-to-1, and gears 8-10 are indeed overdrive, but the tall, numerically small, 2.94-to-1 rear differential ratio, conspire to take the kick out of what is potentially a spicy recipe. Even accelerating at wide-open throttle, Gears 1 through 4 linger and pull for an inordinate amount of time. It sounds great, and there's a definite surge of power as the tachometer sweeps over the 4,000 mark on its way to peak torque output at 4,800 revolutions per minute. So why not upshift into that sweet spot every time? Instead, Redline upshifts into gears 3-5, a curved out slope of the engine's torque curve, thereby missing out on the surge of torque. As Jason Camisa demonstrated with photos of the actual tachometer at various speeds, first gear will take the car over 40 miles per hour, second to 67 miles per hour, third to 89 miles per hour, fourth to 110 miles per hour, as it crosses the quarter-mile mark and shifts to fifth, and there are yet 5 gears remaining. Honestly, it's geared like a NASCAR 4-speed plus 6 more. Theoretically, if the LC500 could push all the way to redline in 10th gear, our calculations reveal it would be going 336 miles per hour for the car's true intended purpose. Hint, not a drag strip or Bonneville salt flats. These gearing issues matter little. Bear with us. Using same techniques as above, where normal mode and drive proved quickest, and with 354 horsepower combined output, from the 3.5-liter 295 horsepower V6 and unrated by Lexus electric motors, the LC500 hours needed 5.3 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour and 14.0 seconds to travel a quarter mile at 101.3 miles per hour in 6th gear. Wheel spin from a dead stop was not possible. Despite similar combined outputs and striking looks, the hybrid Lexus 4-seater would be left in the mirrors of the 357 horsepower BMW i8 because that carbon-intensive 2-seat sports car is almost 1,000 pounds lighter. The BMW i8 zips to 60 miles per hour in just 3.8 seconds and crosses the 1,320-foot mark in 12.4 seconds at 112.4 miles per hour, no contest. In a complex orchestra of 3 power sources, engine and 2 motor generators, and 2 transmissions, a conventional 4-speed automatic and a planetary gear set, the LC500 hours is uniquely both a series and parallel hybrid. Its programming can also provide 10 forward speeds. The LC500 hours is also the first Lexus hybrid to use compact, lightweight lithium-ion batteries, enabling LC500 hours to operate in EV mode at speeds of up to 87 miles per hour. The battery pack fits between the rear seats and the trunk. As a result, the hybrid loses 0.5 in rear seat legroom and 0.7 cubic feet in trunk volume, 5.4 to 4.7 cubic feet. Ironically, the LC500 hours gets a larger fuel tank, 22.2 gallons, to the LC500's 21.7 gallons. It sounded backward to us, too, but we double-checked. In everyday use, the LC500 and LC500 hours S6 piston front, 4-piston rear calipers provide confident feel and predictable response, squeezing 15.7 and 14.1-inch Vantage discs. The brake pedal requires little effort to initiate slowing, and as the rather soft pedal travels, the braking force is proportional and appropriate. There were no complaints and only praise for the brakes until we hit the track. In our testing, Lexus brake-by-wire systems have been known to add a layer of electronics and a slight delay to an ABS panic stop. Notes from testing the LC500 back this up: noticeable delay, even worse than the 500 hours, between brake application and slowing. Once slowing begins, there's a lurching front tire skid pop that the ABS couldn't sort out. As the brakes and tires grew hotter, that lurching, skidding went away. However, the distances remained about the same. There's ample brake cooling, so the 5th stop was essentially the same as the first, but none were what anybody would call short. From 60 miles per hour, the LC500 required 114 feet, and the LC500 hours required 112 feet, or about 6 feet longer than those competitors mentioned above. What the LC500 507 hours brakes, engines, and transmissions all do well, nonetheless, is provide low-effort, confident stops and long-legged power. They shift smoothly, even under full acceleration, with very little head toss or G-spikes. These are restrained, stately, grand touring characteristics and not those of an agitated sports car. There's no mistaking that the LC is a Lexus in the way it drives. It's buttery smooth and cuddling in normal, even spirited driving. Most of these cars' buyers, and we predict there will be many from the public reaction we experience driving them both for 2 weeks, won't give a hoot about 0 to 60 mph times. They look like $1 million. The SL550 sounds fabulous, especially from the outside, and that V8 rumble is even delivered to the cabin with a resonance tube connecting the intake to the firewall. The interior is a magnificent place to spend a day, with one glaring exception. Where the Lexus missed the luxury mark is with the controller for all things electronic. Thankfully, basic climate controls are simple, hard button adjusted. Lexus, however, insists on using what it calls its remote touch interface touchpad controller. The joystick is gone, and it's been replaced with a mouse pad. True, the pad is flanked by a few hard-button big jump shortcuts, radio, media, map, and back, plus 2 roller, rockers, seek, track and tune. All other delicate, discrete functions must be accessed, changed with the infuriating touchpad. By the way, that knurled roller labeled tune only scrolls through presets. It doesn't manually tune. Manually tuning a station, terrestrial or satellite, and saving it to a preset location must be done with the touchpad pointer. Unfortunately, this function is blocked out while the car is in motion because attempting to tune a station feels like a hand-eye dexterity video game. Distracting and attention-demanding doesn't even begin to describe the ordeal. The cursor jumps across the screen unpredictably, unintentionally landing on and selecting boxes not of your choosing about 50% of the time. Not only that, but the menu logic is also flawed. Adjusting the audio system's equalizer, for instance, took several minutes to locate, and the Byzantine path was quickly forgotten. On the plus side, Lexus voice recognition software is quite good, so when we could, we often resorted to that to avoid the touchpad altogether. There was simply no way around designing an interior as gorgeous as the LC's exterior. Lexus did. The cockpit looks and feels like capital L luxury ought to. With the instrument panel's latest version of thin-film transistor (TFT) display technology introduced in the Lexus LFA supercar, including its moving central ring, the sweeping lines of the dashboard blend beautifully into the contour door panels. The leather-wrapped cocoon feeling is unique, even for sporty coupes. Titanium-toned metal elements look lustrous and rich, and beside the standard 10.3-inch TFT infotainment display is a clear panel covering a black one adorned with hundreds of tessellated L logos that is striking and elegant to say the least. An interesting element is that drivers' and passengers' doors are not mirror images of each other. The passengers has an extra grab handle that mimics the one on the center console, giving that person double-fisted bracing opportunity to stay in place. Not that one needs the handles because the seats are not only exceptionally comfortable, but are also uncommonly supportive as well. The construction of them is unusual in that the seat back leather drapes the over-the-shoulder area and then wraps around the seat back. The effect is almost like a leather hammock, and it is amazing. Although they will more likely be used for dry cleaning, the rear seats are rather comfortable, too. Expectedly tight on headroom, there's more legroom back there, 32.5 inches, than, say, in a BMW 6 Series, 30.5 inches, but not quite as much as in a BMW 6 Series Grand, 4-door, coupe, 35.3 inches. Neither the Mercedes-Benz SL nor the Aston Martin Vantage provide a backseat. Highlights of standard equipment on both LC models include adjustable, adaptive suspension, 20-inch forged alloy wheels, run-flat summer tires, a glass panel roof, intelligent high-beam LED headlights, LED taillights, a 12-speaker Pioneer surround sound system, navigation, and the Lexus safety system plus consisting of a pre-collision warning, auto braking with pedestrian detection, all-speed dynamic cruise control, and lane departure warning with light keep assist. The LC500 is priced at $92,995, and the LC500 Hours is at $97,505. To our LC500, the performance package with carbon, $10,000, added variable ratio steering, active rear spoiler, a full Lexus headliner, carbon sill plates, and 8-way power sports seats. This expansive package also includes the otherwise $7,000 Sport package with carbon that consists of a CRFP roof, 21-inch wheels, Alcantara panels in the seats, heated unventilated up front, passenger lumbar adjustment, front, rear parking sensors, blind spot monitor, and a Torsen mechanical limit slip differential. A head-up display, $900, and reasonably priced 13-speaker Mark Levinson sound system, $1,220, brought the total to $105,115. Gulp. It's a small nit to pick, but the blind spot monitor, parking sensors, and 8-way adjustable seats should be standard at this price, and the carbon roof a no-cost option. Our LC500 Hours had just two options, the head-up display and the touring package, $4,000, that includes the Mark Levinson sound system, partial Alcantara headliner, due to the glass roof, semi-nylon, premium, leather seats, heated, ventilated front seats with passenger lumbar, blind spot monitor, and parking sensors. Grand total was $102,405. Drive either the LC500 or LC500 Hours against the clock or bench race them against their perceived competitors, and you will conclude Lexus comes up short, and it does if that's your thing. This is no LFA successor, and it wasn't intended to be. We have learned, however, that there is an LCF in the works, likely with a twin-turbo V8 good for 600 horsepower on the way. As they sit today, there really are no like-to-like competitors to the 2018 Lexus LC500 500ths of an hour, 4-seat Grand Touring luxury coupes, at this moment. And that's fine with us. Drive to Palm Springs, Aspen, Scottsdale, or the Hamptons, and suddenly the coded message in the name of this long-legged Grand Touring car makes sense. It is a luxury coupe 5.00. We wish hybrid were called the LC350 Hours because that's what it is, despite their 2021-inch wheels, short sidewalls, and run-flat tires. The LC's aluminum-intensive and adaptive suspension soaks up bumps and thumps like a luxury sedan does. Their battery steering systems offer a comfortable, relaxed, if somewhat distant, feel of the road as it glides beneath the car. Other than the tighter turning radius it provides, we're not yet convinced our LC500's optional variable ratio steering and rear steer options added or detracted from the driving experience or are truly worth the extra cost. The interior, infotainment niggling aside, is a fabulous place to spend time, either behind the wheel or as a passenger. Sight lines through the front glass are grand, and the near silent running at a casual clip, with the V8 burbling compounding the pleasure, make these great grand tours. Their trunks are large enough, their fuel ranges are vast enough, and their sound systems are exceptional enough to turn any road trip into a genuine occasion. Lexus has built a car for the well-heeled traveler who would rather drive and enjoy the hundreds of miles to arrive at a 5-star hotel or chalet rather than suffer airport and rental car lines. We get this car. We just hope its performance numbers don't get in the way of you getting it too.